Floating in thin air, comparison lost the pair. Is she in or is she out? She must be proud. Yes, she is scared her past might sprout, seeking validation from the crowd. In dive for attention, drinking for perfection, playing her role in this simulation. In the area of hierarchy, specialty drowns in fallacy, trying to illuminate in this plum of multiverse. She had to endure under the knife. Michelangelo couldn't paint this portrait. Can her selection lead to perfection? Whereas the imperfection lies the beauty. The fake smiles behind the veneers will only momentarily hold her despair. Tell that beautiful girl in her drama that her physique is perfect than Cleopatra. These cosmetics are just money-making mantra. That hair extension cannot extend her personality. Her pure love is in her acceptance of her femininity. She has the chance to manipulate their masculinity. Imagine the boat fighting the storm. How would it sail? Little did she know her real strength lies in her frail. Listen, today we have a very magnetic woman in our midst, and I prepared this poem specially for her. And here is how it goes. Anita Eskin, she's the routine, the TV queen pin. She shine like a pumpkin. She's something you can never rush it. No faking, no feigning. She's cute, acute and astute. When they see her, they fawning and shawning, but she hates bootlicking. With her work, she's work very serious, perspicacious, not obsequious. She's taking Ghana global, she's loyal. The woman queen, Wakanda forever. African journalism godmother. I eulogize you, mama. I'm the pen god.
Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway.
This advert has been approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more.
Poverty makes you do what you otherwise would not do. Wealth makes you live the way you wish to live. But revenge cancels the lines between poverty and riches.
It's either you're saying something progressive, or I'll just tell your wife that I'm carrying your child.
Where is my father? Now that he's coming closer to the community, I just let you know. People forget their own plans, so I go figure my own.
Hello there, welcome to another exciting edition of the Upside Down Show right here on Channel 1 Television. And boy, oh boy, Pen God got some pen skills.
Well, no wonder he's called Pen God.
Wow. Wonderful stuff, wonderful stuff. The man is stringing words and putting them in a rhyme like, you know, when you sit in the nursery school and then the teacher stands in front of you and then we all get to chorus it. But the man is doing it and he's doing it so naturally. It just comes to him like that. And I think it's just beautiful.
I want to be in a poetry class because I want to know all the motivation, the inspiration that goes in. You know, when they are writing, what do they think of? I mean, what do they see? What inspires them?
What's happening today?
What isn't happening today? That's more like it, you know.
Let's just say zany and everything except the ordinary.
Absolutely.
Something spectacular,
I like that.
Right? Listen, we're not going to bore you. Just enjoy this. Take a listen.
Tonight on the Upside Down Show, we flip the script with a woman whose voice echoes across the African continent. Anita Eskin.
For me, it's such a great delight when I see a fellow woman, do it all, walk the big stages, home and abroad, and also get to write her name in all the big books that you can think of. Charting, a certain path, just to ensure that young girls can also have people to look up to, can have that inspiration, that motivation to believe that I can also do it and do it so well. I don't know how you think when you see women, doing the most.
It's beautiful to sit back and watch. Okay, this is the life an individual is living, right? But this same life is a full lecture. Yes. For you, the one sitting behind and observing. And it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, she's a trailblazer. She's a woman conqueror. Just name it. We could go on and on and still where to fail us.
Absolutely. but I believe that this is a story that we need to hear to inspire others to look up to people like you. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome our guest for the day, the Anita Erskine.
One and only.
Let me meet him first. Welcome.
I'm good. Good to see you.
Let me give you
Wow.
Okay. How's it going? How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Look at you. You got some news to give me.
Yes.
How do you do this?
Which one?
It's like you keep getting younger.
Oh, stop it.
You keep getting younger.
Well, God is good. Yes, by God's amazing grace.
There was this advert of a certain blood tonic. They say that you meet people, they look so good. You ask them, how are you doing? How have you done this? They tell, it's by the grace of God. But no, it's in their bag.
That grace is a bottle in the bag.
I tell you, nobody can make you younger. Only God can decide to make you younger, and then the rest of it,
True. But how are you doing?
I'm blessed, thank you. Thanks for asking.
Busy.
Of course I have to be. You've been busy. You've been busy.
Not as busy as you have been.
Well, no, it's all relative,
That's true.
Yeah, it's all
well,
relative.
so just go straight into our convo. We've always seen you. You are on TV doing something. You are on a stage speaking English or speaking French. Ça va?
Très bien.
You've been doing so amazing, and you've been doing this forever. It feels like forever. How long have you been doing this?
It depends on what you're talking about. You have to understand that it hasn't all been back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
True.
There have been breaks in between. There have been breaks to become a mother, breaks to become an entrepreneur, breaks to become this. So,
So, let's start from what everybody sees, what everybody knows, and then we zoom into what we don't see. So the TV bit, the hosting of event bits, being in our faces, doing all the things that you do. How long has it been?
Well, I started TV officially in 2006 with when I came on TV for TV3's Mentor and Looking for Love at the time, and then switched gears into corporate. I worked for telco for about 3 years, 4 years or so, and then moved into working with advertising, etc. And then fast forward to radio with Star FM. And after Star FM, I just felt it was ready for me to start my own business. So then, of course, that also included creating opportunities for myself. Well, tapping into opportunities and assignments for myself. And that's when I became more of a stage moderator, high-level event presenter, that sort of thing,
Usually when you see people on TV, when you see people on big stages, it feels like they were created like that. They came into the world already baked, and then we are seeing them here. But for people watching who are also looking for that inspiration and all, let's go way back, to when you didn't even know that you were going to be here. When you were a little girl, playing around, running around and all that. Who is Anita Erskine?
A regular person, just a regular person with an outstandingly extraordinary dream. That's it. I'm like regular person. Regular person, and when I was listening to when I was listening to the poet, I was just remembering when, as a child, I used to love reading and writing poetry.
Oh, really?
Yes, and how that flirtatious relationship with words and the spontaneous creativity has played a role in how I speak, how I pronounce words. You know, it's a love affair with words. You know what I mean, and with expression, without fear of whoever is listening, but just hoping that it reaches the mind and heart of the person that you're trying to charm into your words. So who Anita is a regular person who, yes, I learned from a very young age that I could be very creative, and I could use my words and my voice to be creative. You're right. I didn't know that one day I would use this to do this. And of course, I mean, we're talking about the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
And why the reason I said it's by God's grace when he said I'm getting younger is because you've got to have some grace and favor to be consistently relevant. So if I tell you that I started my career in 2006 and I say to you, you have to do A, B, C, and D, you think to yourself, but that was 2006. These days I don't need TV to be a big shot. I just need social media. Exactly. So that's really who I am.
But what was childhood like? What was it like with the family? How many siblings do you have? What was growing up with the parents like?
I'm the 8th of 8 children, and my oldest sister Rosamond is almost 20 years my senior.
Wow.
So when you put that into perspective, by the time I was old enough to say, oh, that's my brother and that's my sister, most of my siblings had gone away to university and high school, boarding school, etc. So I was not stuck, love you mommy and daddy.
Were you a pension baby?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that, my mom, because for the 20 years, maybe not, but yeah, grew maybe my love affair with reading and writing and poetry and self-expression really started then, because my siblings had gone to school, but I had a lot of books to read. You know what I mean? So I had that kind of childhood, plus listening to older people arguing and talking and listening to BBC News, etc. Some expressions get in your ear. You know what I mean? So something gets in your ear, and then it becomes part and parcel of the way you think and the way you even approach people and have conversations. So I think that's what my childhood was really like.
Wow, awesome. So let's go through the various phases of school.
Okay,
where did it start?
Well, I mean, I went to primary school at Christ the King, Catholic school, and then I went to Ghana International School for my high school, and then I went to Trent University, Canada, for my university education.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you came home. Which year would this be?
Officially moved back to Ghana in about 2013. But between 2006 and 2013-14, I was dabbling with the concept of, okay, do I go back? Do I stay? So I was doing some work here and still doing some work there, just keeping kind of 2 homes, just trying to figure out, okay, where do I belong? Where do I belong? Where do I belong? But something was happening in Africa at the time. In 2005, when I visited, I mean, there was a burgeoning media industry. That was really when people were beginning to take media seriously, and when FMCGs and corporate Ghana was beginning to realize that, wow, we need this media partnership to push our brands forward. So something was brewing and growing, and I just thought, you know what?
But when did French come in?
When I failed majority of my subjects in my O level.
What does that mean?
That means that, well, I didn't fail majority of them. I was struggling, in school. I remember having a conversation with my father, and he said, well, you love linguistics, you love language so much. So why don't you pursue another language? At first, the conversation wasn't even about French per se. So why don't you pursue another language that may help you to become a translator or whatever it is. And I thought, that's fantastic. Mind you, as a young person, you asked me about, where your career and everything. As a young person, you know that you love to speak.
Exactly.
You love to engage with people. Do you really honestly always know what that translates into? No. So as far as he gave me the idea, he's like, go to Alliance Française, go and learn some French, and take your French seriously. And I thought, oh, okay, that may be something good to do. But I still wasn't passing French in school. I wasn't passing French in school.
What did you study in school?
In terms of I was an art student, right? But I wasn't studying. I wasn't passing French. I wasn't doing well in French. And I wasn't passing and doing well in French because language and the learning of it should not be treated as mathematics.
Right.
It should not be treated technically. It should be treated as a learning and absorption of culture.
which is what we do. I mean,
Yes,
I've
so
studied French from primary school
you see the difference?
to MA level.
Yeah.
I don't speak French.
Right.
I pass what I write. I pass, but I don't speak French.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the thing about language.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe the scientists can also say that's the same thing about science. I don't know. But it's when I had a French teacher, and she will always be my French teacher, Madame Awuno.
Okay.
And she saw me failing and failing. She said, but Anita, when we have to do practical class, when we have to speak in class, you're exceptional. But when you write and you're failing, when you write, you're failing. And she said, you know what? Let's treat this as, I don't know, just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like you learn music.
Okay.
Just enjoy it. And I guess that changed, shifted everything. And I thought, wow, it is so true. And I wish a lot of people will see it that way.
There should be a change in approach in the way we teach languages.
Yes, the way you teach language, or the way, for example, in high school, particularly when I was studying sciences, I wasn't passing. And I guess with every single student, you have to figure out, well, we don't have time to help every student figure things out, but some students like me who aren't able to absorb at face value, and we need you to actually break everything apart so we can absorb it that way. Some students like me do better when you say, okay, let's just write it on the board, but let's just put this here, let's just put this here, let's see how it goes. Do you see? So I feel that it cuts across. The same thing with mathematics. For me, when I started to do well in French, I started to do well in mathematics and in the sciences, because I started to use the same approach.
There was a shift in mindset.
I started to use the same approach to apply it to mathematics. So.
Well, we should have had this conversation earlier.
It's never too late. It is trust me. But we make it difficult for ourselves, though. We make it
too many responsibilities now.
No, there will always be too many responsibilities.
Je vais and tu vas. No, not now.
Nous sommes vous êtes.
Not now.
I know. Sometimes the mind is full.
Exactly. So let's not look at media career.
Right.
Okay, in Ghana. Where did you start from?
It would have been Metro TV in 1997.
But prior to this, you had also done some radio in Canada.
Yes. No. All of that. Oh, my career started here.
Here in Ghana.
Right. Ghana is my foundation. 150%. Home is built. Home is what built me.
Oh, wow.
Yes, Ghana is what built me. If you see Anita and who Anita is today, it's because Ghana built me. Yeah, 100%.
To the land. Right.
So love you, Canada, but Ghana built me.
It's ours.
So it was really my career, as a student and national service personnel. I interned at Groove FM at the time.
You were born. When were you born? You don't even know. No, we remember Groove.
See how you say you grew.
We remember Groove.
How old are you? Aren't you like 25?
No.
I'm just joking.
I'm a few years higher.
Oh, okay. One of us.
A few years what?
Shy of 40.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't
You'll
look
be
it.
surprised. I don't look my age.
Not like this one.
Oh, this one
She's 31.
She has an elixir of life that she drinks. We all know that, but we just don't put it out there.
I'm always a grandmother.
it's the milk for the skin and everything else. So essentially Groove, I started with Groove, and Groove gave me the ability to understand what research was about, music, appreciating, genres across board. And then I got an opportunity to again do an internship with Metro TV, which then of course gave me an opportunity to be in front of camera.
Which year was this?
Metro Groove was about 95 as an intern, and then as an on air maybe 96 or 97, and then Metro was from 97 onwards.
Wow. And then from Metro.
So after Metro, then I went to university. And while I was in university, there was college radio. When I finished university, there was the first black-owned radio station in Canada called Flow 93.5. Then there was Flow. I started as an administrative professional, and then I migrated into on-air. And then, and after all of that, came back home to continue.
Wow.
When did you do Viasat?
I did Viasat after TV3, and Viasat, my career in Viasat started in 2010 after my son was born. So my daughter was born in 2008, my son was born in 2009. Don't ask questions.
Why
No,
not?
we're not looking to calculate anything.
Say, hey, sister, back to back.
Why not?
This is not the kind of show.
No, we're not looking to make any calculations on the show.
That's right.
Take it up,
That's right.
A learning opportunity, you know. So think about that. Think about that. Oh, she'll have to tell us, you know, how to do it. I want to know. This is the Upside Down Show. I guess this is Anita Esken. We'll be right back.
Crowd goes absolutely emphatic. He has done it.
Get ready for more on Supersport, the only place to watch all the FIFA Club World Cup.
Yeah, welcome back. Grateful that you stayed on with us. This is the Upside Down Show here on Channel 1 TV. Our guest, Anita Esken. We're going into the Varsat 1 story, you know that period. But before that, there was a break in transmission.
Now you are officially fired. I have no power in this studio, but I'm firing you.
Well, you could have done that at Varsat, though. I had a stint there as well.
Were you there when I was there? Or had I left when you?
Just before you left.
Just before I left.
I think I came in around 2013.
Oh, then yeah, I was just about to leave at the time.
2013.
Yeah.
But you know, I went to Varsat.
Yeah.
You know, when I went, when I after Adrian and wanted to now move from radio to TV, I went to Varsat. You know, but I think the only issue they had at the time, I think you were on that panel.
Really? Yeah.
I think so. The only issue was my son was too young.
Okay.
So, I mean, times that I had to spend at work was going to be very difficult.
Yeah, it was going to be difficult. Yeah.
So I
But
just forgot
Varsat
about it.
actually had a very flexible shift. Okay, so I came in via MAP.
Ah, okay.
Yes, I was with MAP for a period before I got a contract with Varsat 1.
Yeah, come from far.
I know, right?
You know, they're doing interviewing of a lot. Exactly.
Yeah, but that notwithstanding, there's quite a close gap between the two.
Yeah. No, my babies. Oh, babies for life. They don't like me saying this anymore because they're teenagers.
Right.
But they're babies for life. Yeah.
The
You
teens.
care to share their names?
Miley and Nesta. Miley is my daughter and Nesta is my son.
Why Miley and Nesta?
Because their father decided he's a Nana. Thank you very much.
God bless Kamali.
It's so interesting because I was also struggling to find unique names.
Okay.
I didn't want. Listen, my name is Anita. You know what Anita?
You have a unique name you don't use anymore.
Which one, Vered?
Yeah.
My Israeli name, but I mean, Anita is what everybody calls me by. You know, sometimes you go somewhere, Anita, and I go, yes, I said, I know. You know, so Marley and Nesta, unique enough, you know, to have that name. And yeah, I thought, okay, that's different, but that's also nice.
Then we need a Bob somewhere. We need a Robert in there somewhere.
Fire him, I'll fire you. No, you will not. Just during the break, we were talking about how we try to make and come to.
No, but I like this. Because we are not talking about this. You know. So
I'm trying to get you to be quiet.
Now that you are in that process, can you give us a Bob?
Yeah, why don't you give us a Bob? Since we all, since
I
we're
have
all
a
family.
Roxanne.
Exactly.
You have a Roxanne?
I have a Roxanne.
Okay, and then?
Hopefully.
Okay, can you
give us a Bob?
speed it up, please? If God permits.
God will.
God has permitted.
God will.
You know,
Since you want to talk about this right
let
now.
me put it this way. I am still making the deposits, right? But I haven't cashed out yet.
I pray your wife forgives you for what you've just said.
You will. And when it comes, we'll remind you that we already have the name.
Bravo.
Was it a deliberate decision to have your babies when you have them?
Yes. Okay. No, not my first. No, not necessarily. It's not like I planned and said, you know, I'm going to whatever it is. But once I had my daughter, I decided, listen, let's just have another one.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess maybe. It's not fair to say that I planned that they should be back to back, but it's made sense. I just figured, listen, if I'm going to take a break from work, if I'm going to be this new person, if there's anything like just do it all at once, let me just try and do it all at once. But I'm not, it's not like, oh, I calculated and said, wait, year one, year, no, not at all, not at all.
So at what point did the babies come in your career? What were you?
I was bang in the middle of my tenure with Studio 53.
Okay.
And I did Studio 53 while I was at Tigo at the time. You know, so both Yeah, kind of like in the middle of both of them, to be honest with you. That's when I had my daughter.
It did not disrupt anything.
Very disruptive because, by the way, at the time, nobody tells you about this interesting relationship between your career and your children. All the women who've come before you, they just keep things moving, and respectfully so. You know what I mean? It's not to say before us there were no career-driven women. Not at all. It's to say that before us there were no fora or, we didn't talk about this. It happens and you navigate it. What's your problem? You know what I mean? Our great-grandmothers have done it. Our grandmothers, our mothers. So what is your problem? But I think that maybe what would have happened with this era of women was the questions. We were asking the questions like, okay, it's difficult. Should it be this difficult? Has it always been this difficult? And when you start to say and hear, yes, but we've just kind of kept things going, then you ask, but why do you keep things going when we could collectively do something about it? You know what I mean? So that's really what happened for me. I had to take 2 steps back away from my career. And also, and this is what I share with a lot of my friends and my colleagues now, is a wonderful appreciation that in different phases of your life, you are a particular person. Right. You don't have to be the same person you were before that.
Exactly.
You have nobody to please. So it's very okay to say, you know what, in this phase, perhaps I may not be the one in front of the camera or the one on air because I want to take my time and whatever. And it's absolutely fine. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you can be all of it at the same time, then good for you. I couldn't do it. Right. So I just simply struggled through, okay, what does this mean? Okay, when I get back, what does it mean? Only for me to get back and realize that I had grown up. I was a different person. That was the issue. I wanted to have different conversations. I wanted to be in different kinds of rooms. I wanted to connect on a different level. You know, certain things just didn't necessarily appeal to me anymore. I had priorities, and I suddenly realized, okay, I would love to be at home at 6 p.m. That wasn't always the case. Exactly. But it good enough for me to open my mouth and say, I want to be home at 6 p.m. You know, and not worry so much that I was no longer the person I used to be before I had children. And I wish somebody had told me this.
You know, so this is... sometime last week I was having a conversation with my colleague Chris Carter, Chris. And we're just talking about womanhood. And I was like, Chris, there are a lot of things that we don't talk about, you know, and we are bottling things in us, and now people are finding solutions from all over the place, but we are being judged, you know, but people are not also paying attention to what it is we are going through, like
the real issues.
Absolutely. You know, I'm a mother,
a career woman,
you know, a daughter somewhere, a friend, a sister, and this, and all that.
The demands on you.
Meanwhile, the world will judge me. Why are you not trimmed? Why is your hair all over the place? Why are your children not like this? Why are you not? Who do we talk to? You have been advocating.
I think I'll tell you something. Forgive me. I will not answer to anyone who makes me feel less than I know who I am.
Right.
Okay? Judge me if you like. Not a problem. You have the right to judge me. But the moment I feel that I'm using your judgment against my own self, then I'm self-destructing or self-destroying, and I will not have that. Maybe easier for me to say right now because of how I've built myself internally and perhaps maybe mentally and externally. I agree, because not every human being, male or female, gets up and think, you know what, I know who I am. I get it. And it's a journey to get to that point of self-ownership and everything. And you're right. In that moment, you think, oh, this person is saying that I'm this person is saying that I'm that. So in your mind, you think I'm worthless. I come back to work and they're not giving me that opportunity anymore. And I've had so many engagements with so many women who feel like that. And my simple question is, who do you say you are? Let us just start from there. Because if you have to please all 35 million people in this country, not to mention all billions of people on the continent, you will lose yourself. So my question now is, who do you say you are? Let's start from there.
Jesus asked that question.
Yeah.
Maybe as Christians we should also
ask ourselves. Yeah. And the moment you start to put pen to paper, and you start to outline who you say you are, what you say you want to be, and then of course, if you're blessed enough to be surrounded by like-minded people who can give you that encouragement, because that makes all the difference. You realize that, oh, okay, I'm evolving. So I may not have what I used to have in 2006, being on TV, mainstream, but I have evolved. So who I say I am today is 300% satisfactory to me, on my own terms, in my own time. But if I have to try and connect with people on the same level as I did in 2006, or because at that time, do you remember me? And I used to, bro, sis, it'll be over.
Right.
And you've also been very active on stage. When did that start?
I think intentionally post-COVID. Intentionally.
Okay.
2018, I started to think, I had left the radio. I started to work as a consultant on a number of UN projects, and it was just opening my mind to conversations that I felt I needed to be part of. I think that's where it is coming from. I was working on some project, and I'm producing these short documentaries and stuff, and I'm thinking, hey, things going on in the world, though. But these things that are going on in the world, where are the conversations happening? Really? And then I'll research something and discover that, oh, there's this conference here and the topic is this, and the person on the panel is this, and the key takeaways needs to be this, and I'm thinking, okay, this kind of thing interests me, but how do I become part of this conversation? Literally, that's how it started. That's how it started. Just wanting to be in the rooms where these conversations were happening. I didn't mind being a spectator. But I felt, wait, hang on a second. Anita, you have an idea, you have a thought, you have some ambition, you have a voice, you have this, you have that. You've worked in television, you've worked in radio, so you know how to navigate platforms, because that's all it is. All of these things are doing, it's the same skill, just navigating, except we don't see who's watching, but it's the same thing. But my thing, more than just use a skill, was these conversations I feel affect me. They affect constituencies that I care about. Women, youth, Africa. These conversations are leading to major decisions, and I really want to be part of that. And that is where I started to think, get on stage, interact with these leaders, interact with these individuals, get on stage. I mean, if you email them, they're not going to respond, are they? One of the best ways to connect with them is on these stages around the world, Ghana, Nigeria, wherever, around the world. And that's how really, truly, it started off for me.
So with what you just said, does it inform the type of gigs you sign on to?
Oh yeah, I'm very intentional about conversations I want to be part of, because ultimately these conversations have a way of feeding into my own personal ambition. I mean, it has to connect. Somebody asked me a question, it's like, oh, you're so vibrant when you get on stage and you become a different person. And I said, yes, because I'm talking about things that mean something to me.
To you,
And there's a difference, so yes, it absolutely, what opportunity, assignment, gig, whatever you want to call it, I involve myself with is almost always something I'm deeply, deeply passionate about. That's the story.
But are you able, to put the various things you do on the table to say that I enjoy this most?
Yes.
So radio, TV, hosting,
production.
Yes.
Which one would you go for?
It depends on where I am at that point in time in my life. Honestly, I know that's not the answer you're looking for, but I can't. That's the only answer I can give.
No, I can appreciate that, because people change, people evolve. So at every stage of time.
So I would tell you today, I may say, well, you know what, I don't really like production because I'm not wearing a production hat. And then today I will say, oh, the one I love the most is the travel and the engaging with, with leaders around the world and kings and queens and having these powerful social impact stories. Do you see? So I think it really depends on when you're asking me that question, to be fair.
I mean, and it's fair. It is very fair.
But move from stage to stage. So based on where you are at the point, you can tell what you appreciate and love the most.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of difficult question to ask.
Because I think that gradually, even with me, I'm beginning to get tired of TV.
I don't think you ever get. Why are you looking at the camera? The camera cannot talk back to you. Whoa.
People who
No. But I think what you guys created, I guess the truth about Upside Down is it's transparency, right? It's not us, pretending to be whatever it is.
No. Just a
but I don't know that you can say you get tired of TV per se. I think in life sometimes when you're doing something and you've done it for a long time, the spirit wants a refresher.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which
because I think now I enjoy doing events more.
Same skill.
Yeah.
Same skill.
Yeah.
Same trait.
Exactly.
Different applications. So I think it's just, and then where you are as you grow older, and that's why sometimes I say to people, don't latch onto past glories.
Exactly.
Let it go if it has to go.
True.
It may come back, or so when people are, hey, do you know who I am?
Who are you?
Who are you? I mean, I don't that's bad. Like, who are you?
Anyways, I mean, when you mentioned the support system at Studio 53,
yes,
my mind was going home, domestic support system.
Yeah.
What was it like during the pregnancy
I have to say, my husband, Regis, his mother-in-law, his mother of blessed memory, his father of blessed memory, and my parents, my father passed away in 2021, but my parents are very traditional. When you marry, you go to your husband's, quote unquote, you go into your husband's family. Not even necessarily a physical
structure.
Now you are there.
And I loved how, my mother gave my mother-in-law the quote unquote, the freedom, to take me in as a daughter. I don't think I know without my mother-in-law, I would never have been able to build and rebuild myself. Because when my daughter Marley was born, she literally, and even though I wasn't really working and I was almost always at home, she's the one that would say, bring her, go, gosh. And then my father-in-law, who was retired at the time, he would literally entertain my daughter.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So, when people, again, I correct people, oh, superwoman. Nope, there's nothing like a superwoman. There's only anything like a woman who has a super support system.
Exactly.
Let's not get it twisted. And I say, Nana, as I'm sitting here with you, where are my children? Somebody's taking care of them on my behalf, So definitely, at that time when I had those children, or I had my children, those people, and my husband being so understanding, he's, I don't even have words for that guy.
Super.
I don't have words for that guy. But that's the support system I got, and I still have.
Right. So with everything that you've been doing and things that you're still doing, where is Anita going?
Oh, what a question. I'm going where the continent is going. Can I say it like that?
You can.
Do you feel like the continent is going somewhere?
Oh, it is, because now Africa is the world.
I think I'm going where the continent is going, which is my anthem on a daily basis. It's what can I as an individual do that can tap into the collective movement for my continent to be at the forefront. I can't do it by myself. I can't do it alone. So I think I'm going where the continent is going, and by God's grace, it's towards prosperity.
And why not?
Amen.
All right, let's walk through the weight loss journey.
Oh, my weight loss journey.
A conversation that Nana might not understand properly.
No, Nana, don't discredit my brother.
No, you see, I'm not discrediting.
Let's not even have this thing. I'm on your side here. I'm fighting for you.
I'm not discrediting. Okay, I'm not discrediting, but we live in a society, or let me not even bring society in, as individuals. So personally, I've always been very tiny, very slim. Okay, now when I hit around 36, something like that, I moved from size 10 to size 12. My food intake did not change. My whatever had not changed. I just felt maybe some kind of hormonal stuff, I just added on. Sometime last year, I just moved from size 12 to size 14.
That why you went to chill?
No.
Nana, you have to chill.
You see what I'm saying? You won't understand. You don't know where the bottom of your heart is when it comes to this issue. That's from the bottom of my heart. But it seems like you've reduced your portions, you are exercising, you are doing everything, you are conscious, you are doing, everything you have to do. That would, have to make sense, but it's not.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Okay. I think that I don't mind talking about my issue because quite honestly, I can't be bothered.
Listen,
I don't care.
we have,
right?
let me tell you, not to cut you.
Yeah.
But one of my biggest celebrations is the power of narrative. We have platforms.
Yeah.
We are blessed to have the voices we have. Why hide and do what can change people's lives?
Exactly.
And you see, this thing you're talking about is the same thing that happened to me. Life happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But again, we don't talk about it because we think, well, then that's everybody understanding and knowing what I'm going through. Which I agree. You don't necessarily have to always say, and I'm going through this. I agree, and I respect it 100%.
Yeah.
But there's one thing that all my life I have prayed for, and I'm going to be transparent here, is Father God, whatever happens, up or down or good or bad or, give me the courage to use my voice to impact people's lives positively.
Yeah.
Right.
So not every day inspirational, you can do it. No, sometimes just transparency and truth.
Yeah.
Sometimes
For
you have
somebody
to cry.
yes, for somebody not to feel so, if I did it, it's not a matter of, oh, Anita, well, you're able to lose weight because you have access to this, you have to. No. Let me take you back. See how you're talking about moving from size 10 to 12 and things that we don't talk about. Our hormones.
Yeah.
Mine was my thyroid.
Okay.
I had a challenge with my thyroid and I didn't discover, my doctor and I didn't discover it till, it's like, what's happening here? What's all this water retention? What's all this? And I'm honestly not a big eater. Yes, it's true. I have a sweet tooth. I like my cake and I'm a fancy. But I agree with what you're saying. Do you see?
Yeah.
So yes, it's just, what's this? And of course, people are not kind. So it's like, hey, like I said, what are you going? And you're struggling with something, and you don't even know what you're struggling with, my sister. So for me, my journey really started about 4 years. Actually, no. In the middle of COVID.
Okay.
Towards the end of COVID is when I felt, because during COVID I was filming Diddy.
Okay.
With my dear big sister Shirley.
Yeah.
And it was okay because I needed to look like an older woman.
Yeah.
But when Diddy was coming to an end, and of course, 2021 were coming, I just felt, it's like I've been in a zone where I needed to be this size.
Yeah.
But what really is happening? And you can even ask my teammates on set. They would actually say, oh, Anita, you haven't had breakfast. I'm like, yeah, guys, I don't normally eat breakfast. So what's all this retention?
Yeah.
And one day my doctor said, something? Let's just do a full test.
Right.
And see. And it's scary when your doctor says, let's do a full test.
Yeah.
Oh, my thyroid, pre-diabetic, and my father passed away from hypertension, so you can only imagine.
Yeah.
And so, by God's amazing grace, my dear big sister, actually, I call her my dear big small sister, Beiswata Wuna Hamad, I will always celebrate. Beiswa, I will always celebrate Beiswa.
Yeah.
And she said, sis, I've had my own issues, and that has caused my weight gain, but then we all have the same problem.
Because
we're getting older.
also has done so well.
We're getting older.
Yeah.
The complications are so much. Nobody's saying anything. But she had 2 great friends, Nana and Abby. Listen, if I don't use your platform to thank people who have come and, I'm not going to say, oh, yes, I'm going to the gym every day. Listen, somebody knew that I needed help.
Right.
And they reached out. Esther Farmer, Trazako, they are the best. So these 2 sisters, Abby and Nana, said, listen, Anita, every woman, and man, who walks into our facility has one request. Help me figure what's going on out.
Right.
Yeah. And that was it. And they helped me. And I did my hormone replacements. I did, a whole laundry list. My medical weight loss. And then inserted my fitness regime. Very, very strict on what I eat. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No, it won't.
It's not easy. It's one of the most difficult things I have ever had to do.
I can imagine.
So if you remember me, 2006 on Mentor, I was small, but I was in my 20s, girl.
Yeah.
And bro, I could decide I'm not eating fish on Monday, and by Friday I've lost 5K.
Wow.
That's the issue.
When I came to 35, and yeah, come there, but
Yeah,
Of course.
because
Of
was
course.
some time ago having a conversation with Jess, and I was like, I don't have any issue. And quite honestly, mine gaining weight didn't come in early at all.
Really?
At all. So I will eat anything, whatever I want, anything. Nothing will happen.
Nothing will happen.
I remember telling
happening.
Jess, and I was like, look, I can wake up around 10 p.m. and like cooking jollof. I'll go and cook jollof. I'll finish. I'll eat, and I'll go back to bed.
Yeah.
Nothing will happen.
Yeah, because
Then
you're
when
so
it
convinced.
when it started, I felt like,
to go.
was God, piling up all my sins and revisiting me now?
No, it was just a story you're about to tell.
Yeah.
I guarantee you in a year. Listen, shameless plug, Esther Farmer helped me tremendously with my weight loss. By the time we collaborated with my doctor, Dr. Linda Decker at Franklin Medical, to understand the cause of my weight gain, we knew we had a solution. Now, again, we talked about support. And I never wanted to seem like one day I woke up in the morning and I had all the solutions and here I am. I'm sorry, guys. This is not going to be that kind of place where I toot my horn as if I did it by myself. I've had immense support.
Right.
I've had immense support and immense help, and I continue to have it. And that's truly the story. I'm taking you there.
And that's the truth. I mean,
I'm there.
you know when you mentioned that you've always been tiny,
Small.
if I can put it that way, and that I wouldn't understand the issue about I smiled because not necessarily. Listen, I was so tiny, so smallish, and I say this with the greatest of respect. My French teacher in junior high school named me after Kiki Jan.
Oh, because you were small. You were
Very
You
tiny.
were slim, and you look like Kiki Kakra.
If I can put it, I look sick.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So even my mates, when they see me now, and they're like, "Hey,
What has happened?
you got one sack? Like where this from?" Yeah.
I mean, for us, we speak from the female perspective.
Exactly.
Age and hormones will do that to you. I mean, men, you have your own thing.
Exactly. We're built different.
But I'm so grateful for the question you've asked, because I think more and more women, as we get older, it is okay to reach out and say, I need help. It is very okay. And I'm not going to make this seem frivolous. No, it is okay to say, I used to be able to do it on my own. Complications have come in. I don't even know which way to turn. Help me.
So how do we take this conversation from here and practicalize it? I'm asking this because now because there are cosmetic surgeries and other things, people hide behind their struggles, and there's nothing wrong with cosmetic surgery.
I think if I may jump in here. Go ahead.
1 second. But I also believe that there are people who, if they probably would know what other options there are, that would not be their first choice.
First of
there
all,
are those who just want to have that. There's nothing wrong with that.
First of all, I think maybe I should just say that it's always a personal choice. Whatever you decide to do, I think I respect your choice, whatever choice you're making.
And people need to own that.
People need to own it. If you believe what you're doing is your best option for yourself, I always tell people, and I went somewhere 2 days ago, somebody said, hey, you become too skinny. And I was like, well, I wish you were there when my doctor said half my heart was failing. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like only I know how I feel and why it is important for me to own how I feel.
And what you're dealing with.
And what I'm dealing with. We have to respect it. So, I mean, just to support what you're saying, I think if you want to go under the knife and you feel you're comfortable doing it and you've got the support to do it, I think you should do whatever you... Listen, somebody will sit somewhere and say, yeah, Anita, you are lazy. You should have gone to the gym. You did medical weight loss. And I'll say, well, I wish you had been in my doctor's office when she told me what I was dealing with. You know what I mean? So I think that, again, you and I have the platform. I've started a podcast on wellness. Because after what I've seen and what I've gone through, if I don't share the importance of wellness holistically, then I haven't done well. Holistically, then I haven't done well. So
you're doing the
where we go
work.
from here, I'm doing the last one. You're so cute. This is love doing. No, but you asked a very important question. You know, you have a conversation, and then what next? I think let's be bold and share the truth, so that it allows somebody who really feels they're alone to know they're never alone. That's why I appreciate you talking about how you move from 10 to 12 to 14 to 16 without realizing, hey, what's happening, and it happens to all of us.
Exactly.
But if we are the people that our audience has said, listen, I will watch your show, I'll listen to this, then maybe we can do something to help them. And that's with the transparency that
and we
we're
should
having.
be talking, we should be having these conversations, and we have to just understand the fact that certain things are normal, they are natural. As women, you will grow.
I like it. And then I was like, what did you call it? I was going to say one chamber. You will grow. It's so funny. Yesterday, one of my assistants sent me a TikTok of somebody, a guy on TikTok who caught a clip of me or something. Goes, hey, I need to girl, what kind of 888, what kind of people they grow. And I said, yeah. And my sister said, it's like, oh, Prof, look what they said. And I said, but where is the lie?
Exactly, but we have to grow.
We are growing.
Yeah.
The only time it becomes a problem is if you want people to connect you to who you used to be, which is not possible.
No.
I'm a mother of a 17-year-old, the mother of a 16-year-old.
Of course.
I'm 46. I've got gray hair. I will grow.
It's natural.
Before and after.
Embrace it. And for me, sometimes when you put yourself in the right perspective, you even notice and you realize that you've done so well.
Isn't it a blessing to be alive? Do you know how many of our colleagues
accept what is?
How many of our friends, our colleagues, our schoolmates, whatever it is, have passed away?
Exactly.
And we're not, to me, to be alive, let me grow.
Yeah.
Look,
I love it.
Yeah.
I always say that my second son is 16, almost 16. My first son is 19. I visited him in school. He just turned 19. I went, yeah, mother of a 19-year-old. Oh, girl, yes,
Okay, at this point, that is an all-female show.
Don't worry. You're a girl dad, so you understand.
So I visited him in school, and I'm like, do you realize this is your last year being a teenager? Wow. Next year you'll be 20. I'll say, yeah, so mommy. Now, do you also realize that now you're very old?
It's a blessing.
For me, this is
God
the beauty. And this is how I also inspire myself. This is how this is how I draw my energy. That if I see these guys standing there and I'm their mother, I think I'm fine.
I agree with you 300%. I think we shouldn't be. We're front facing, we're front of camera, right? So sometimes psychologically you think, look at my wrinkles, look at whatever it is. But I think it's very important to ask yourself, would you rather grow older or mature, and still have some kind of relevance?
Exactly.
Or would you just, wither away? Would you mature and be nothing, And we're talking about the physical aging. But there's also the mental maturity.
Exactly. Yeah.
You asked a very beautiful question about, when I started hosting stages, whatever. It came with a degree of maturity. It came with knowing that, something, I'm in my 40s. I can't go and host a rap show. It's fact. Why? Because there is somebody best suited for that now. I want to compete with a person. Why would I do that? You know what I mean? Even on social media, certain conversations you're having at a certain age, with all due respect.
Exactly.
Honestly, leave those who are hot and relevant now to also have their limelight while you migrate to other things that are currently of use to you in that sense. And once you accept it, you'll see it's quite fulfilling.
Exactly.
Own your truth and accept it.
Own your truth. And you have one in your beard.
If you want to be a big sister, be a big sister.
You can't be a small sister.
You can't do that, and that's the pride in having junior colleagues look up to you, impacting people.
Listen,
it's fulfillment.
That is where I get. When you see my shoulders are up like this, it means I've just had a conversation with a junior colleague. Somebody in the industry who just wants to know, how do I do it? And being in that position of being so proud to share, I think you should do A, B, C, and D, and seeing that person go, wow, what you told me has changed my life. But you don't want to share the information because then it means what? Oh, please.
Ami, you have to end the conversation here. Even when the cameras go off, we still have stuff.
I don't even trust you. but it's been wonderful.
Yeah,
But it's really been great. I mean, these are things that I've always wanted us to talk about. Encourage somebody, people who are crying, people who feel because of motherhood, because of stress in life, and all.
Parenthood.
Absolutely,
Parenthood.
but these things are blessings to all of us.
People are simply lost, and they need some of these.
Haven't we been lost? Sometimes,
exactly.
Sometimes I'm lost, and I
You
look
get lost
to other
sometimes,
people.
so-
I'm crying every day,
Hey, Tia, two I'm crying every day. That's a meme right there. I know, right? I love it.
Annie, thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been an honor.
And well done. You've
Thank
done
you.
so much.
Well done to all of us. To all of us. We're still here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well done. Well done.
Congratulations.
Thank you guys.
All right.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Okay, great. Now we've had a very, very hearty conversation. One that personally, I've been very. Nana, this didn't feel like an interview. No. This felt like a serious conversation. When friends sit and the only thing we didn't have was probably a bottle of drink or something.
Or maybe coated nuts.
Yeah. I mean, now that Adi is here, I'm not even sure if you should talk about maybe a bit of pork kakra or this kakra, but
let's just give it ourselves.
Maybe next time it will be tea or something.
To do about my best behavior, so yeah.
And why not? It's been very, very great, and we believe that you've had to know Anita better. Certain things that you didn't know about her, now you do. And to my ladies, look, embrace yourself. This is who we are. Let's love it, okay? Well, there's nothing wrong with it. Don't let social media give us a definition of who an ideal woman should be. Look, I always say that there are certain people, all shout out to my Kaswa people. Some guy in a ghetto in Kaswa. The phone has cracks, with borrowed data and all, and they are the ones telling you that you don't look good, and you are worried about this, and you are crying, and you're doing that. Forget about it. Be yourself. This is who you are. Look at your achievements and give praise to God. And thank God that you are here. You are still alive.
Yep.
Certain people with all their monies, with all their beautiful looks and all, are buried. But we are here. We can only be grateful.
Yeah. Can I do same for the men?
Why not?
Let's shout to the Sakura boys. Charlie, those of you who are keeping the hairline from the back here,
the cover people.
That one too is fine. Embrace it. You understand. But thank you so much. It's been a beautiful show. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you again. My name is Nanatifo. Be kind to your mind.
My name is Prema Adiname, and she is Anita Erskine.
Curious about what's happening beyond your borders? Beyond Borders takes you there. Every Wednesday at 7 p.m., join Caleb Kuda as he explores the stories that shape our world, connecting you with Ghanaians in other cultures and seeing the world through their eyes.
So if you learn one thing, you leave your shoes outside.
Wow. Tuesdays.
I won't go to Ghana dressed in a Lacoste. As director of operations.
From international politics to the human stories that define nations, Beyond Borders brings you a fresh perspective of Ghanaians around the world, one conversation at a time. Beyond Borders with Caleb Kuda airs Wednesdays at 7 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
Together.